Welcome to Frywall Fridays. Today we're doing something really fun. Indian fritters called pakoras. They're not very hard to make and they'll unleash flavors you would not have thought possible in your home. They make a great appetizer or serve them with a salad for a nice light dinner. Let's get started. For our ingredients, we have several spices. The key one here is the mix called garam masala. We also have turmeric, red chili powder, fennel seeds, cumin seeds, fenugreek, and salt. If you don't have all of these spices, don't worry. The garam masala, you could just add a little bit more of it if you need to substitute. Next, we have our vegetables. We have a couple of potatoes, 1 onion, a little bit of eggplant, ginger, a couple of spicy chilies, and some cilantro. The recipe is pretty flexible. If you don't have eggplant, feel free to substitute in some zucchini. And then we have our flour for this dish, which is gram flour, otherwise known as chickpea flour. And finally, just a little bit of water that we'll need to combine everything. I'm going to start by julienning the eggplant. Next, we'll do the onion. I'll cut it in two, then slice it thinly. Now I'll coarsely grate our 2 potatoes. Next, I'm going to chop in 2 spicy chilies. If you're not into spicy food, just go ahead and do one or use a jalapeno instead. Next, I'll add in about a handful of cilantro. Go ahead and chop in the stems, they work just fine. And finally, I'll grate some ginger. I'll use about a tablespoon in all. As you can see, we have all the ingredients piled up in a bowl. And at this point, I'll go ahead and sift in the gram flour. Next, I'll add our spices. And now I'll mix everything in by hand. And go ahead and take your time. Make sure that everything is nicely incorporated. The moisture in the vegetables will allow everything to stick together and combine nicely. But at some point, you're going to want to add a couple of tablespoons of liquid. You want the batter to become not quite wet, but about the texture of batter. You might need a couple more tablespoons. I think that for this amount in total, it'll probably take about a 1/4 cup of water, but you really have to do it by feel. The oil is just above 350 degrees. If you don't have a thermometer, just drop in a piece of batter. If it floats right back to the top like this, then you're good to go. At this point, I'll form the little pakoras. You want about a tablespoon and it'll come together nicely, and then just go ahead and drop it into the oil. I don't want to crowd the pakoras too much, but even in this 10-inch pan, I should be able to get 6, maybe 7 in. And I'll let them fry up just long enough to get nice and brown on one side, and then I'll flip them. It should take about 3 minutes per side. These are ready to come out and rest on a paper towel, and we'll start in on the next batch. All right, let's get these plated. You can see they're pretty gnarly looking. There's bits of green in it. They smell absolutely divine. They're earthy and they're bright, and they just have this wonderful spicy smell. And we'll put a few here on a plate. I have some fresh yogurt dipping sauce, raita, that we made. Chutney also works great. And then just some cilantro on top for color. There you go. fresh homemade pakoras. Enjoy.